You know, I had this big problem with this mini bike's clutch overheating. This is a Coleman clutch, and it's a centrifugal clutch. It's metal to metal friction. Uh, it's metal to metal traction, which is lousy. But the thing about it is, if this gets hot, it's even lousier because when this, I mean, it looks messy, and it is. It's messy looking. It's not that messy as you might think, but when this kind of clutch, they sell these clutches at Tractor Supply, and you can buy them from go-kartsupply.com, and I guess Coleman Go Sports on the internet. All these places have phone numbers. I think Walmart.com sells these kind of clutches too, but these clutches are old, traditional, or just they're old. They're not really that great, but they're not like a disc clutch, or they're not like a plate clutch. It has the mechanism. It squeezes out like that when there's a shaft going through it. And you spring on it. When you pull a lever, it turns. You pull a cable, it turns, and there's a little piece of metal that pulls that the shaft out, and it disengages the clutch. When you let the clutch out, the little piece of metal turns and lets it go back in. But this clutch isn't like that. But this clutch here is lousy until you fix it the correct way. And it looks like a mess. But the way it was pulling before I welded these pieces of turbine blades to it, the way it was pulling was horrifying. And you couldn't even hardly ride it. So what happens is these centrifugal clutches get really hot. And when they do, the metal, it's metal to metal, like metal to metal friction and traction, but isn't that well. It's not smooth like it would be, in a clutch plate that has a steel plate that pushes against a disc that's made out of a softer material that doesn't wear out because it is submerged in oil. And the heat, it doesn't get hot enough to wear it out unless you let the oil out of the transmission of a motorcycle or car. But so what I've done, that when this thing gets hot, it starts jerking. It jerks so hard that it can't hardly go. It slows it down. It will also break the chain and tear it all to shit. So what I've done was I welded these turbine blades to it to catch air and disperse the heat out in these blades. Now these blades spin and they catch your air, it cools it down, and that cuts down on the jerking and the wear of this clutch. I don't know